Welcome to the Tuning In podcast, where we talk alignment, intuition, and our internal guidance system. We cover woo-woo topics in an approachable and practical way. I'm your host, Dana Evans of Alignful.com. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tuning In podcast. We are at episode 65, and this is week 5 of the Sloth Experiment. And oh my goodness, how the heck are you all doing? Let me just say, I feel like crying. And you know what I've done most of the day? Had bursts of crying and tears come through me. So let me back you up to the beginning of the day. Today, as I'm recording this, is Monday, December 14th, and it is the new moon in Sagittarius and a solar eclipse, a complete solar eclipse in the southern hemisphere. And I also, if I'm correct, I think there's some meteor showers. My mom saw 2 shooting stars this morning, and it's like an energetically, universally potent time. And that's really cool. And from what I've read and heard from other people, I'm no expert in this, but this solar eclipse / new moon, and even when you're listening to this on Wednesday, like you're still in that energy, it is a time to really get rid of and ask yourself, what is not serving me? What am I needing to let go of? Really, 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 really important. And then releasing and making space, like we can't bring this stuff into next year. That's kind of the energy that's going on. It's like you're manifesting stuff, things are happening, and it is no time to hold on to what's no longer serving you. And then once you're kind of clear on that, then the question is, what do I want? And really dive into that question. And that's kind of what I've been contemplating today. So I woke up at 4 a.m., as has been happening a lot lately during this Sloth Experiment. All of a sudden, I wake up around 4:15, 4:30, and kind of doesn't seem to matter when I go to bed. It's been kind of my new wake-up time, which is fine. And I love the early mornings. I love, 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 love that time. But I woke up today with some anxiety. And that anxiety did not feel good. And it's so interesting because, you know, I used to have more anxiety in my life, like many, many years ago, maybe 10 years ago. But it has not been something that I identified with at all recently. And since this sloth experiment, I have definitely started to feel some anxiety again. And it's really interesting to experience anxiety from this super aware place. You see, I don't particularly see anxiety as an emotion, right? It's not something that can be expressed and released in the same way that sadness or anger or frustration or even joy can be kind of moved through the body. At least not in the way that like I do the emotional clearings, right? Anxiety is more of a symptom. And even more so, to me, it's a place. And anxiety is usually triggered by thoughts. And what's happening is I'm experiencing intense bouts of anxiety. And so from this more aware place that I am now in life, it's really interesting because I feel the anxiety. I know it's not real. I know it's future projected thoughts, like unwanted thoughts that I'm projecting into the future. And that's creating this like stuckness in the present. Because to me, anxiety it's not letting you go forward because it's afraid of what's coming. And it's creating worst case scenarios in your future that are unwanted. And then you're like afraid to go there. And I described this to my coach the other day. I was like, I just feel like I'm stuck. I'm in purgatory. Like I made the leap and now part of me wants to go backwards and the other part wants to go forwards. And instead of doing either, I'm sitting there in a ball of nerves, like in tightness. And it's a really interesting place to be because that isn't an abundant manifestation, powerful energy. Anxiety isn't. It is small and tight and gripping and controlling and fearful. And you can't move forward with that. So my coach, of course, helped me with a lot of that, which was wonderful in the moment. And then what I've been practicing doing, especially the past few days where it's been heightened, is here's what I tend to want to do when I'm feeling super anxious, is pull back, resist, and go into old patterns of avoidance. But knowing what I know, and you know as well from listening to this podcast about avoidance, is if we're avoiding feelings and emotions, right, we're just pushing them down further and numbing ourselves up top. So that's no way to do it. So this morning, first of all, my cat crawled into bed with me. Oh, bless her. She crawled in under the covers and I was like spooning my cat. And I could literally feel her absorbing some of that anxiety from my body. And I was thanking her. And cats are really powerful and energetic cleansers. So it was just such a gift that, or maybe not an accident, right? But it's a gift that she came in to help me with that. And then I got up and still wasn't feeling 100%. And so I went to another tool, knowing that my desire was to hide. So I was like, I just want to like scroll on Instagram. I was like looking at places to book a vacation. Just like wanting to not be in this experience in the present moment. Except the anxiety is exactly what's taking me out of the present moment. And it wants to do more things that take me out of the present moment. So instead, I know that the key is to bring myself back into the present moment to deal with anxiety. And I do that in two ways. One is I get present with myself and I look for the thought that is triggering the feeling of anxiety. The thought that is triggering the feeling. Because if thoughts often trigger feelings and you're feeling anxious, there's likely a thought that's going on repeat or a scenario that you're thinking about in your future that is triggering this feeling in the present. And it's different each time. You know, sometimes, I have themes, I have common themes, but I was sitting with that this morning and then I caught it. And you become, just by doing this is the coolest thing. Just by saying, okay, I want to find the thought that's causing this, you start to watch your thoughts. But by watching your thoughts, you become the witness, the observer of your thinking, which means you've pulled out of being identified with your mind and your thoughts, right? You've already created a level of separation. And you're then witnessing those thoughts from more of an objective place. And then as you're witnessing, the thoughts will still come. And then it's like, oh, boom, thought, trigger, emotion, feeling, tightness in chest. That's the one. Then I take that thought and I question it. Is this true? How do I know if it's true? Do I want it to be true? If I continue thinking this thought, am I more likely to get the outcome I desire with my unknown future, or the outcome that I don't desire, aka the unwanted outcome, the undesired future that's causing me anxiety? And I just think about that. And then I ask myself, okay, if this is my unwanted desire and this is what's causing me anxiety, then what is my desired future outcome? And what can I do Or how can I think about my future now in the present to help ease that pain, that anxiety? And it's really powerful. I've been doing this quite a bit. And look, the future is unknown, guys. The future is unknown. You do not know what's going to happen. So why spend all of your time thinking about the worst case that you don't want to happen? Why spend your present moment in fear of a future scenario that you can't control? Now, that isn't to say you can't take actions. For me, I was looking at this and it's like, okay, is there anything I'm going to do about this? If so, then take action in the present to set your future self up, right? Absolutely. But if there's nothing you can do about it, then why set your present self up for exhaustion and pain? If you can't change the future outcome and you can't predict it, and there's not a ton of action you can take, wouldn't you rather be content in the present and start to expect good things to happen in the future instead of expecting bad things? Think about that. And listen to, when I ask you that question, listen for all the, well, yeah, buts that come from your mind. Because I guarantee your mind will have a whole lot of reasons why it's better to be in fear, in anxiety, in worry, and fight for the pain that it is in now because it's comfortable and used to that. It is used to being needed and creating fear. So if you start expecting and looking forward to a desired outcome in the future, again, it's as unknown as the undesired outcome, then you'll start to feel at more ease in the present. And just ask yourself, is that what I desire? Don't ask your mind, but ask yourself and witness the mind's resistance to that. So that's a really powerful tool that I've been using. And the other thing is I use all my other tools. So knowing I had anxiety this morning, right? I was experiencing anxiety. I don't call myself anxious. Like, I'm anxious. I have anxiety. I am experiencing anxiety in this moment because it is not you. It's a really powerful way to separate self. So knowing that I was experiencing that this morning, I was like, okay, what can I do to be more present? Again, anxiety is future. So bringing us back to the present. So one thing I did was I journaled. I used my little energy tracker from Kate Northrup. The Do Less Planner has an energy tracker. Just kind of like noted what's up. And then remembering that it was the new moon and not fully understanding all that that meant until I kind of learned more later today. But I pulled my amazing, beautiful Moonology card deck, my Oracle card deck. And I decided to pull a card spread, a new moon card spread for myself. And this takes you way into the present and it connects you to your higher self, right? Your inner voice. And to me, the cards, I think I talked about this on the last episode. To me, the cards are just sharing the wisdom from your own inner guidance system. It's communicating to you through the cards so you can receive. It's still your own knowledge. It's still your own inner wisdom. It's just sometimes we can't hear it within and we need to ask to receive it from another source, but it's still your wisdom communicating through the cards. So I pulled my 3-card spread, and I kid you not, the very first card I pulled was actually, it was a new moon in Pisces, and it said, meditate and contemplate. And it told me, use your feelings to guide your way. Logic won't work right now. Face your fears. They may be holding you back. The situation you're asking about is being healed, and it's time to surrender to the divine. Wow. The new moon in Pisces indicates a time to listen to your feelings and to allow your emotions free rein. Whatever you're feeling as you pull this card is more likely the truth. And I was like, okay, cool, noted. The second card I pulled, I'm pulling this up so I can read it to you, which brought me to my knees in tears. It said, have faith in your dreams. It said, don't give up. The situation you're asking about is still taking shape. You are nowhere near the end of the story. Whatever is happening now is just a step along the way. The waxing crescent moon card is a reminder that you must still keep working towards whatever it is that you want. If you can't take practical steps, what we just talked about with the thoughts, spend time meditating on the question you're asking about. And then it said other meanings, focus on what you want, which is exactly the energy of this new moon and solar eclipse. Allow your higher self to download information to you about your next best step. Just because you can't see your dreams, it doesn't mean they're not manifesting. Don't look back, stay focused on moving forward, and be patient as events unfold. Oh my God, right? And the final card I pulled, I kid you not, is your hard work is paying off. And I had just recorded a video that morning. Before I did the card pull, I recorded a video for my vlog, and I was like, I just hope that this all has a point. Like, I hope that what I'm embarking on is the right thing and that it's going to pay off. I spoke those words to the video camera, and then I get the direct slap in the face message of your hard work is paying off. In this case, my hard work is this, right? Is the Sloth Experiment, is being present. It is not doing as much. It is unraveling and untangling years and possibly generations of stories and beliefs and, my work and my worth and all of it so that I can emerge, And that is, let me tell you, that pulled me right out of anxiety because I was in the present. So your cards, any card decks, journaling is always wonderful. Talking to people about it. I shared, a few messages that I received, and then helping other people. I messaged my mom and I was like, I shared this message actually on my Instagram because I felt other people would relate. I was like, Mom, how do you feel this morning? I'm unfocused, anxious, uneasy, and restless. And I like to think that when I'm feeling something, there's an energetic connection. And so I check in with other people because I have so many tools for this, right? And I'm like, if I'm feeling this way, there's a good chance other people are feeling this way. And I checked in with my other good friend, Lauren, who has to travel with her baby soon, and my mom and I had a conversation. And it's like, and then I messaged another friend who was feeling really emotional. I said, this is a space for you to just breathe and receive and take a step back. And that felt really good, right? That brought me into the present and I could help people, right? Instead of just wallowing in my own pain. The other thing I did is I went for a little run on the treadmill and moved the energy. I listened to music that felt really good and I was moving my energy. And that's not always an option for me. That is, when I move, it's very much an intuitive choice. I don't exercise for any particular purpose. But today I was like, oh, I'm going to go run on the treadmill. And I put on Kanye's workout plan. Thanks to Kanye's workout plan, I'm the envy of all my friends. See, I pulled me a baller, man, and I ain't got to work at the mall again. That's me singing to you. So I listened to that and pushed my run. And it felt so good to get that out. And then I came back, I took a shower. Okay, I'm telling you my day just to be clear because these are all the things, these are choices I made, okay? I made these choices to bring me into the present because today I was just feeling a lot of intensity and anxiety and uneasiness. And I was like, I need to be present with this and not fight it. And I don't want to be on Instagram. I don't want to mindlessly watch a show, even though I often do that. I was like, something about today, I just knew I needed to be with it. I'm telling you this because these are tools that I have that you too can have. So then I took a shower and I played this beautiful playlist that someone had posted this morning who I follow. And she actually has a lot of information about the moon. It's called Not a Yoga Sound Bath. It's her Spotify playlist. And I just played that. I dimmed the lights in the bathroom. I put some drops of my favorite winter balsam fir cedarwood essential oil in the shower so it smelled nice, and took like a really soothing, grounding shower. And here's the crazy thing. In the shower, whoa, I had 2 insights come through of what I need to let go of. The second one just like showed up at the end of the shower. It's something that's like I've kind of been noodling on, but not super actively. And it's just like it told me, my inner voice was like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to let go of. And I kid you not, it dropped me to my knees with tears. But they weren't tears of fear or like sadness as much as like releasing of resistance. They were tears of truth. I was like, yeah, that's true. That's what I needed to know. And, you know, I'm just sharing all this with you because we have so much wisdom inside. And I'm feeling like, so like the emotions are running high. But we have so much wisdom inside. And anxiety, it's just a mask to keep you from cracking yourself open and feeling what you need to feel. Anxiety is keeping you stuck. It is keeping you where the mind feels safe in this pain. It is trapping you from your truth, and it is blocking you from your own divine inner guidance. And we do not have to be held back by anxiety. We are not beholden to it. We do not owe anxiety anything except presence, because that's what will dissolve it. Not distraction, not fighting, not resisting, not avoiding, not pushing it down, but pure awareness, presence, and welcome it to speak up what it needs to be said so that we can move through it. Not away from it, not around it, but through it. It's okay for it to show up, but it's also okay to let it go. We don't have to choose anxiety. We can choose freedom from anxiety. And it is a practice because it is easier to numb out than to feel in. But if you're bold and courageous and willing to feel in, the positive and profound insights and side effects will be so worth that temporary discomfort. And it will become something that you get comfortable with and that you're able to use to skyrocket yourself forward so that you aren't stuck, but you're alive and awake and present and always inviting in what you desire and releasing what you no longer need, just as this new moon asks of us. Thank you so much for being here, for listening. I hope you can use some of these tools and really, invite that new moon energy into your week and explore. It's a journey to self, and I welcome you on that journey, and perhaps maybe we will take that journey together one day. Thank you as always for listening, and I will catch you next week on the Tuning In podcast. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tuning In podcast. As always, if this would resonate with anyone you know, please share the episode. You can follow along with my journey on Instagram at Dana_Evans, or find me on my website at alignful.com.